Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, good afternoon. This is the Amazing Great Sports Network on Sports Wednesday. Glad to have you, glad to be here. Today is July 16th, 2025. And guys, summer's here and summer's almost gone. I see leaves falling already. I don't want to alarm anybody, but that means something. When you see leaves falling already, there's a reason why. Soon it's going to be called fall. It won't be called summer anymore. It's going to be called fall because, well, the leaves will be falling. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another great day. The sun is shining. It's about 90 degrees outside, 90 and some change, and it's 12 something. Yes. I admit, I'm so sorry for being 7 minutes late. My computer's not processing as fast as it should. I'm going to blame it. I'm going to blame the computer. Not that I should have prepared maybe a half an hour earlier instead of thinking that it would, just upload like it's supposed to upload or generally does upload. That it would just jump to it and get it done. It didn't get it done and delayed me by 7 minutes. And I truly apologize for that. I like being on time. And I'm sure you do too. I'm sure you cannot stand when you're made to wait. There's nothing worse than that. Okay, so it won't happen again. We're going to make sure this never, ever happens again. Okay, get that right out the way. Get that right out here in the open. That being said, since today is July 16th, you know what day that is? It's the day after the 15th and the day before the 17th. Yes, but it's also Barry Sanders' birthday. Yes, Barry Sanders. Do I have a picture of him up here? Let's see. I have a picture of this guy, Kenny Lofton, 300-pound basketball player. But I don't have a picture of Barry Sanders. But you know what? We are going to get around that because we have a video. That's right. That's what took so long processing. Let's get it done. Ladies and gentlemen, let's click it again. Usually it takes about 3 times to click it. When I click it, then it'll finally play. Double click it. Triple click it. Uh-huh. Yeah, well. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. See what's working today. Come on, you. Get in the groove. Looks like something's about to happen. We're going to work on this thing. This thing is not working according to how it should work. Customize, Let's give it one more try. Come on, Barry, get online. We spent time getting you up and running the way you used to run, and, you should be getting it done. What is this? Okay, AG Sportsnet, AG Sportsnet. That means that the amount of channels we have up. You know what? I might have to ad-lib this. Barry Sanders, born in Wichita, Kansas. Wichita. If you guys have ever seen that movie, Unforgiven, yeah, when Gene Hackman says, "Yeah, we get all kinds of bums in from Wichita." I'm not getting this thing up and running. Well, why don't we just go to the Major League Baseball? Let's just get on the Major League Baseball game, and maybe we can get this thing up and running a little bit later. Major League Baseball had a All-Star game. That's right, had an All-Star game, and in that All-Star game, rarely does the National League win. But you know what happened? You know what happened yesterday? The National League won. And I got to tell you, it was actually exciting. And I didn't want to get to this. I wanted to play the Barry Sanders, tape first. I'm still working on it. I'm telling you right now, I'm still working on it. I'm not going to give up on it. Oops. Uh-huh. We don't want that. What the heck? Let's undo that. Let's get back here. Um, I'm not giving up on it. I'm not giving up on it. We're going to find a way to get this thing up and running. We're even going to add another scene if that's the case. Let's just do it again while I'm talking to you, and we'll get it up that way because we're not going to give up. We want to especially. Barry Sanders was born on July 16th, 1968, in Wichita, Kansas, the seventh of 11 children to William and Shirley Sanders. Sanders played football at Wichita North High School and was a defensive back for most of his high school career. Barry was not given a chance at running back until his junior year. Part of the reason was he was small for his age. The other reason was because the starting tailback was his brother, Byron Sanders. When Byron graduated and left for Northwestern University, Barry was expected to start, but he did not get the opportunity until 4 games into the season, when the previous starter was suspended for disciplinary reasons. Sanders rushed for 274 yards and 4 touchdowns in that game, and he started the rest of the season. Barry ran for over 1,400 yards, averaging 10 yards per rushing attempt in a 7 game season. After the season, Sanders earned All State honors and was named as an honorable mention All American. Barry Sanders committed to Oklahoma State University, despite the fact they already had a noteworthy running back in Thurman Thomas. At Oklahoma State, Sanders spent an uneventful first 2 years backing up Thurman Thomas. When Thomas left to enter the NFL, the legend of Barry Sanders began. In 1988, in what is considered one of the greatest individual seasons in college football history, Barry Sanders led the nation, averaging 8 yards per attempt and over 200 yards per game. Sanders rushed for over 300 yards in 4 of the games. Sanders ran for 222 yards and scored 5 touchdowns in just 3 quarters of play during the 1988 Holiday Bowl. He set college football season records with 2,600 yards rushing and over 3,200 yards total all purpose yards. Sanders easily won the Heisman Trophy for that season, as well as the Maxwell Award and the Walter Camp Award. Sanders entered the NFL draft and was selected by the Detroit Lions with the number 3 pick in the first round. For the next 10 years, Barry Sanders electrified the world of football. He won the NFL's Rookie of the Year. He was a 4-time NFL rushing champion. He was a 10-time Pro Bowler. And Sanders won the NFL's Most Valuable Player Award. But despite all of his accomplishments, the Detroit Lions only made it into the playoffs once in Barry Sanders' career. And this frustrated him greatly. After 10 seasons in the league, Sanders retired when the Lions refused to trade him to another team. When he left the game, Barry Sanders left the game healthy, having gained over 15,000 rushing yards, the most ever by an NFL player in a 10-year span. Barry Sanders was called the man of 1,000 moves, but the word that jumps out to me to describe Barry Sanders' running style is the word unreal. One has to see it to believe it, but once you've seen it, you can never forget it. Happy birthday, and thank you for the memories, Mr. Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders was born How about that? Oh my gosh. There I am. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I'm back. And as I was talking about before, the National League uh, and the American League in the All Star game, yes, that happened last night. And I'm going to tell you, it was actually very, very exciting. Something happened, something rare happened. And that rare event that happened was the National League actually winning the game. The National League defeated the American League. It's a rare event because the American League has won 10 of the last 12. Now, how they defeated the American League was in a sudden death home run derby. And you're probably going, what are you talking about? A sudden death home run derby? Yes. If you're confused, you should be. This is the first time that it's ever happened, and it's separate from the original All Star Home Run Derby, which was won by Carl Riley of the Seattle Mariners when he was crushed. He was just crushing the ball, crushing it. I mean, crushing it. I can't say crushing it enough because he was crushing it. He was uh, he was just making it look way too easy. He's the first catcher to ever have won the home run derby. But if anybody looked like they should this guy was crushing it. That's all I can say. Anyway, this home run derby that is how you settle a tie game. Yeah, the game was tied um, after 9 innings. This is how they settle it now. Sort of like a face off of where the skaters come down and they're skating is a shootout. Yeah, a hockey shootout. Except they pick three batters from each side. Three batters. Three from the National League and three from the American League. And then they set them up there, and they each got three swings. Three swings. Three batters with three swings. American League guy goes up, then the National League, then the American League, then the National League, then the American League, and National League. Yeah, so that's how it went. And what happened? Well, let's before we go there, let's talk about how it got to be a tie game, how it became a 6-6 game because the National League was up 6-0 in the uh, bottom of the eighth. Yeah, bottom of the eighth. Um, Gee whiz. No, no, that's incorrect. They were up 6-0 in the top of the ninth. 6-0, top of the ninth. The National League was up. So, looked like the game was over. American League is up, top of the ninth, and they get a run, and then they get another run, and then they get another run, and then they get another run, and another run, and another run, and the next thing you know, it's tied up 6-6, and and everything's changed, but the National League still has a chance. Yeah, in the bottom of the ninth, they still have a chance. They have a chance to come back, and make it a dramatic win. Uh, Probably would not have been as dramatic as the swing off, but it would have been dramatic because they would have won. But Arnoldus Chapman of the Boston Red Sox, the supreme closer of this year, a guy who throws 105, maybe 110 miles an hour, came in the game. And as you can imagine, no, the National League was not. There was no way they were going to get a run off this guy. Nah, this guy was throwing heat, smoke, fire, whatever you want to call it. It was flowing, and the National League didn't stand a chance. They went down 1-2-3, and now that's how we got to this home run derby in the middle of the game or the end of the game. It's now called a swing off. That's how we got there. So um, there was a guy, Rooks. He for the American League. He came up. Then I think he hit two home runs, and another guy came in for the National League. He hit uh, one home run. It was 2-1. Then a guy came in for the American League, and he hit He hit two home runs, and now it was 4-2. Something. It was 4-2. And Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber. I can't even pronounce the guy's name. Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber came in. The guy's good. The guy's really good. And He has 3 swings. It looks like it's over. If he doesn't do anything, more than likely the American League is going to win again, and everybody in the National League is going to go home crying as they usually do. But Kyle Schwarber, 3 swings later, it was 5-4. And that's the way it ended, 5-4. Kyle Schwarber was the guy who walked it off. You might want to say that. Rosarina came up for the American League. After that, in the top of the well, we can't say top of the ninth, but it can't be top of the eighth. I guess the top of the third of the swing off, which is the last inning, he came up uh, with a chance of getting it back, but nah, it didn't happen. Um, nope, it didn't happen. That was that. It was done, and the National League won. So now we can get to some real baseball. And while we're talking about real baseball, if we're talking about real baseball, we're talking about, well, we're talking about the Red Sox. We're not talking about Alex Cora. We're not talking about Rafael Devers. Okay, he's gone. Uh, might be talking about Cy Young when he played for the Boston Americans, but we're not really talking about him. What we're talking about is the Red Sox are in the midst of a 10-game winning streak. And you know what I need to do before I go any further? I need to check my chat. Okay, Did Barry say yes? He retired early because he juked himself out of the league. They said, where does Barry Sanders rate on my all-time running back list? And that's he's in the top five. He's in the top five. The guy is definitely in the top five. Yeah, he was unreal. Very small guy though, but you couldn't tackle him. Um, it's almost impossible to tackle. Can make you miss 3 times in one play. Um, he was one of those kind of guys, and he was unreal. He was just he was a hard guy to catch. Then he was a harder guy to bring down. So he's just unbelievable, and he had a stretch there. He was the most valuable player. When a running back's the most valuable player in the league, you know he's good. And then somebody else said, "Be honest, did Barry Sanders retire early because he juked himself out of the league?" No, Barry Sanders retired early because the Lions were terrible, and he wanted them to trade him. Let me get this guy out of here. Okay, I have Mr. Cy Young up here. Let's get him out. Barry Sanders wanted to go to another team. He felt like he would have a better chance at winning if he went to another team. And well, the Lions were not about to make that trade. They were not about to give up the best asset. He was the best asset they had on the team, and they were not at any cost about to trade him away. So he retired. And then how all this came about that everyone found out that he really wanted to get traded was he had a bonus they had paid him, I think, a year before. I think he had re-signed with the Lions the year before. And when he retired, they wanted him to pay it back. And so the judge said, okay, listen, you got to pay some of this back because, it's prorated. It's over 6 years. So you owe him X. He says, I'll pay it all back. I'll pay every cent of it back, all 6 years of it, if they would just trade me. And the Lions said no. And that's how it spilled out that Barry wanted to get traded and could not get traded. He was a class act. He didn't go nuts on it like Jimmy Butler did or some of these other players when they don't get what they want. I know that's the NBA, and they're just a bunch of paid babies and whiners and moaners and criers, led by LeBron James. But Barry Sanders kept it a class act. He never said the reason why, even though that appears to be the reason why. He didn't juke himself out of the league, but he could have. Okay, watching the Sox lately feels like a horror movie. What do you mean you can't stop watching? It's you're right. We can't stop watching. We can't stop watching because they're winning it with walk-offs. They're dominating teams. They're no, really, they are looking very, very good, and they're exciting to watch. You don't know what's going to happen. I forgot to mention this guy named Carlos Narvaez. Um, I don't know that this guy is like a WWE guy. He's big. He's strong. he can throw people out. He's the catcher. So they have this guy, and he's like their captain. He's a no nonsense guy. Then they got the guru, the savant, and that's Alex Bregman. And Alex Bregman is proven to be the engine that can and the engine that runs this team, whether he is on the field or off the field. He is the guy who's getting in everybody's ear. He's getting in everybody's face, everybody's grill. He's quizzing them. He's asking them questions. He's telling them what's going to happen before they even go up to bat, what the pitch is going to do to them. And he's proven invaluable, not just on the field. I mean, because he was tearing it up. He came back, and I don't know if he should be back. He's running with a limp. He's not going to be able to leg out a good devil. You know, if he has to, he's going to have to sit there on first. I'm sure they'll be happy with that in certain situations, but in other situations, they're going to need him to be a guy who can actually run, and he can't do that at this particular time, not at full strength. So they're going to have a little problem with that. But Alex Bregman is that guy who's making this engine run. And with, like I said, with Brian Belial looking like Pedro Martinez. I swear to you. Now this is almost like a Kobe Jordan thing. When you're watching Kobe and you're reminded of Jordan, I'm watching Brian Belial and Bayo. Yeah, Bayo. I'm gonna get this pronunciation one day, Brian. I promise you. So I'm watching them and I'm seeing Pedro Martinez. I'm not kidding you. I watched Cedar Rafaela. He looks like Roberto Clemente. Small guy. This guy's knocking the ball out the park. He's scalding the ball. He's making plays out there in the field like Clement. I mean, he's the arm. This- so, like, is this deja vu? Am I going way, way, way back in time? But the team is looking good, and a lot of these players, they're built in the mold of some superstars that have already come before them. So they are a very dangerous team, and the rest of the league should watch out. I think they're in trouble. What's the best way to contact me? Email me. Um, yeah, I think the Cimarron. Yeah, just email me, and um, that'd be the best way. I think I've told you this before. You can email me. I don't know what name you're coming in under email, but I haven't seen that particular name. You probably should email me with the particular name you have right here. Um, who do I think they should trade before the deadline? I don't want them to trade anybody. I want them to get somebody, though. I want them to get a nice second tier pitcher. That would be nice for them to get. If they can find a pitcher um, of a team that's, well, ready to throw it in, ready to throw the towel in and call it quits. Get the best or second best pitcher off that team. Um, they might have to give up something, but definitely okay. Who would I get rid of? Jaron Duran. Even though he's cut down on his strikeouts. I mean, the other guy that reason why they were able to cut down on the strikeouts because they got rid of Rafael Devers, who always liked to swing at the high heat, but he's not the Rafael Devers of 3 years ago, so he couldn't catch it anymore. But Jaron Duran has got to catch it. And also I think he's kind of undisciplined. I think they can package him with William Abreu and maybe and Walter Bueller, the pitcher, and get a very good and maybe throw in. And you really like this guy, you really like him, and you hate to uh, you know see him go, but Marcelo Myers. I don't know. Where you gonna are you gonna put him at second? Um, to me, he doesn't have the power that he should to play in the big leagues. He's going to have to become more of a contact hitter and be a singles and doubles hitter instead of swinging for the fences. He's not going to have that power going forward that we see Roman Anthony has. Okay, or even less to a point, Kristen Campbell had more power than him. Um, and we'll see what happens. So there. And Romy Gonzalez, I forgot to mention Romy Gonzalez. Who does Romy Gonzalez? I don't know who he reminds me of, but he's hitting 350 something for the Red Sox. So it looks really good. The Red Sox look like a really good team, putting on a really good show for a really good town that appreciates them. And I think that's my show for today. Boston Red Sox. Trevor Story, Alex Bergman. I keep saying these guys' names, but I can't say them enough. These guys are really putting forth the effort, and I pity the Blue Jays, and I pity the Yankees because the Red Sox are committing assault and battery on the rest of Major League Baseball. And because the Blue Jays and the Yankees are in the division, they're going to have to play them more than anybody else. And that spells trouble with a capital T for the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I'm out of here. Glad to bring you Barry Sanders, one of the greatest running backs that ever lived on his birthday. Yes, today is his birthday. That's right. I do the birthday on the birthday. Is that making any sense to anybody? Well, if it doesn't, I'm doing the birthday on the day of the birthday, so that we're not trying to fudge it here that it was yesterday or the day before. We're doing it on the day of, even if we have to pick somebody out of rugby. We're going to do it on the day of and make it authentic. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I will say I would bid you adieu. It was my pleasure being here to talk about the Red Sox, Barry Sanders, and first swing off, the first swing off in Major League Baseball history of an All-Star game. Since 1933, this has been the first swing off. How you like that? And I get to report on it. I get to talk about it. This first swing off. Oh, I wanted to thank my wife. Because I have this prayers victory, spiritual warfare. It has to do with marriage. And I was going to do a good one. And then I got caught up because I was a little bit late and I missed it. But the prayer had to do with thanking your spouse, because the devil can get between you and your marriage, or you and your girlfriend, you and your fiance, you and your boyfriend, you and your fiance, that type of thing. Shouldn't be boyfriend for too long before you start morphing into marriage. But the devil can get in between and speak little words in your head. And next thing you know, you're thinking negative thoughts about your spouse, the person who washes your clothes and irons them, or whatever, cooks or cleans up after you. Your fiance who washes your car and cleans it out. We're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. And I'll get it up for Saturday. Saturday, I'll have that prayer ready. But it was to thank your spouse for being there and to wipe these crazy little thoughts that you get in your head out. Get them out so that you can win and be victorious in spiritual warfare. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. It's been my pleasure.